Well, today we're going to explore Find It Trading's Enchanting Christmas. It has very much of a teal vibe. There are 4 push-out sheets and a sheet of papers, which I will show you every single one. But here is one of the projects that I've created for you. So please come play with us. Well, let's look at the papers first since they're on top. They are 8 by 8, which is a great size. These are papers. They're not cardstock. They are double-sided. There are 18 sheets, and let me just show you. You're going to get 2 of each of these, and I'll show you the back side also. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, big Santa, lots of presents, and a brown tone, and then we're back into the first sheet. There's also a sheet in the back of some cutouts, so that's an additional one, and also on the inside back cover. So lots of things there. Now the push-outs are exactly that. You just pop them out. Now I did find on these that every now and again there was an area that didn't push out. It's like the area that was connected to the backing sheet was a little bit larger. So highly recommend our little scissors. Now these come with a protective case. You just pull them. What I love about these is the size, because they're just so useful for everything. But also the tip is very much at a point, so it's going to be very precise in cutting, and they're also, they will resist anything. If you're using foam tape or anything that's adhesive, it won't stick to these, so that's really nice. So we're going to be seeing that quite a bit. So we're going to start, let's see, oh, let me show you. We have a snowman, we have deer, and you can see all of them are large-size Santa, and then a village, so all 4 of them. So let me bring in the first of the collection, which is this card that I just showed you, and this is obviously using the snowman. And I'm going to show you the sheet that I used because I think that's just helpful, and obviously these are the pieces I use. Now the first one, well actually let me explain. In each row that will create a finished project should you want to use them that way. And you can tell that I didn't use them that way. What I wanted to do is, in this case, to look at this art shape, and I wanted to duplicate that. And so I chose, well, first of all, the paper. This is the sheet of paper I used, and it has the 2 borders of snowflakes. On the back side, it has that also kind of a very frosty, wintry feel. But I just used this side. Now my card is 5 by 6.5 inch, our standard size. Of course, you can use these push-outs on any size card. In this case, I took this piece and I simply trimmed it, started at the top, starting over to fit inside the card. Now, the exact measurements and everything are down below. Just click on any of the projects and there are complete written instructions, so that will be helpful, I'm thinking. Because my card is 5 by 6.5, I cut my paper smaller. I did that because I wanted to accent the white that's in the papers. Also, I was wanting to use something sparkly and pretty, so that is the white glitter. So anyway, taking the paper, trimming it down, I used the other part of it, so you can see that I would have quite a bit left in this 8 by 8 paper. I used that on the inside of the card, so just 1 sheet of paper was needed. Now, in doing this, I wanted to, as I said, to highlight that arch shape. So what better thing to use than, of course, our nested arches. And I just played with them, placing them around the push-out, and decided which one to use. The measurement is down below in the instructions. And I used the white glitter cardstock. This is non-shed, so it's not going to rub off on anything. You're not going to see it flaking everywhere, which is great. And I did glue that to my card over on the right-hand side. I wanted that border to show, so I didn't want to cover it up. And so in looking at my snowman, here's what I decided. The first one has the backing, or the background, and I really didn't want that to show because I wanted my glitter to show. So I used the second and the third and then a couple of the bottom one in my card front. That gives you this piece and this piece to use on a second card, so that's always nice. So I simply glued the first one down. Actually, in this case, I used the extra sticky tape to attach it because the glitter is a little rough, and I know the extra sticky tape is always going to be perfect. So simply attach that with the tape, and then this is the second layer. And then the other thing that I noticed, actually let me bring this in here, and I'll turn this over so you can see. That is the second image. Doesn't have that arm. Oh my. Okay, so when I discovered that, I took one of the presents that's down here and foam taped that into his left arm so that, I guess it's a she. She's got a bow, ribbon in her hair. So, and put that in where her arm would be. Okay, clever. You just wanted to take a look at all of these. Now, that takes care of this piece. And then I wanted to add some more shine. And so what I did is I went into our snowflakes package, which has big snowflakes and tiny snowflakes. I used this sheet of the white ones and placed them all around the left-hand side, a little bit on the right, but mostly on the left. Now, I do use this all the time. This is our retractable penknife. When you push the end, it's going to expose that blade. How do I use that? Well, I'll go onto my dazzle sheet and I will lift up my snowflake like so. And then this just lets me place this wherever I want, and I can kind of look and see, well, do I want that? Yeah, I think I kind of like, whoops. And yes, it can go popping off. Where are you? There you are. And I think I'll just place it right there. So it just gives me more control, and I like control. So I recommend that. And you can see as I turn this how I've got them all going down. Now the other thing I added, and something you will see on this entire collection, is that teal is the color. So I kind of looked around for everything that I had that was teal. And I decided to use our teal jewel dazzles. Now these are the mirror ones. And you can see that I've placed them in the center of the printed snowflakes. And that's just to give another pop of shine. Now we have the teal mirror. We also have the teal sparkly. So we have our jewel dazzles with 540 circles on the sheet. We've got it in 2 finishes. So that's just another thought. Now, the good tidings came from our greetings dazzles. And for some reason, my goodness, I don't seem to have it here. Well, that's not good. Okay, well, you'll see it down below in the listing of products. You can see Good Tidings is here. Again, it's white, and that just allows my snowman to really take center stage. He's the colorful piece. On the inside, as I said, I use the other half, or the other part of the sheet, more of the snowflakes. And this is, let me show you, this is the first little guy on the right-hand side of the push-out sheet. So you're going to get at least 3 cards out of every single sheet, maybe more if you kind of fudge like I did. Now with him, I just simply used the whole piece, and then I did have my snowflakes on both sides. Merry Christmas is on that same sheet of dazzles, so that just does very nicely right there. So I've got Good Tidings and Merry Christmas snowflakes on both places, and of course you've got extra room to write whatever your message is. Now, one thing I do need to tell you is that on the Santa, excuse me, not the Santa, okay, we're fine. We have fine quantity on this. There are 2 of them that we have a limited quantity, and I want to be sure to tell you. So, okay, that takes care of our snowman. Let's now go into our deer. And once again, I'm using a 5 by 6.5 inch card. And this piece, I used this sheet, and I thought how perfect this would be to let my deer kind of nestle into the snow scene with all the trees. So I took my sheet and I trimmed it, cutting off the bottom part. As you can see, I trimmed that so that that would be my bottom part of for my card. Okay, again, I cut this. Now I did something else on this, and you can see the difference, I think, is that I did some shading on the edge. So I trimmed this, put it onto the craft mat, and I used my teal ink pad and my blender brush and just went into the edges. And if we can get in closer, thank you, Houston, you can see that teal edge. So it just gave a bit of a shadow, and I'm a great fan of that. So that took care of my first layer. Now, on this one, I too wanted to play around with it. I chose this set. So there's 3. There's 1, 2, and then this one down below. Okay. And once again, you can tell the pieces that I use because they're not there. But on this, same thing like the snowman, is that I didn't want to use this one because I wanted my deer to have the background of the paper. Okay, so I didn't use that, so that you can use later. I did use the second layer, and I put that down, glued it in place. Then I added the smaller pieces at the bottom, so the head of the deer and then the one that's laying down. And then I added a little extra package too. So that is all foam taped on top, and that's what you do. You glue down the first layer, foam tape the next layer. Now, can you see the snow, that dimensional snow that I have? That's been so much fun to use this winter. And let me show you. So I take the soft snowfall and I put it into a container that has a lid because I don't want to use, it's nice that it comes in a bag, a Ziploc bag, but I want to be able to use it and not have the static electricity of the bag. So simple to use. And you can use the fine tip applicator. I have my Cosmic Shimmer Specialist glue in here, and simply put glue wherever you want the snow to be. And I just layered it over the white areas of the art. So I did it there, I did it there, and I did it there, and at the bottom of my reindeer. And then I simply placed them into my container and just lifted my snowfall and let it attach. So no big deal to it. And I did it all at the same time. And then I tapped my card so that all the pieces remain inside. And it is done. I mean, it's so easy. And I will tell you something. We're working on some projects for next year. You will find this soft snowfall useful for other projects other than Christmas. So just a tip. Okay. Now also you can see that I have the dazzles around the edge. Now these are the border dazzles, again in teal. And I used the ones that had a straight edge. So I put that straight edge right along the edge of the paper. And then I have a decorative outside edge. And I like the fact that these have a gold foil border. So I duplicated that gold when I used these dazzles. And these are the Christmas greetings. They have script. They also have the tiny words and phrases. So that's kind of neat. So you can see the happy that I pulled here. So I've got teal and gold, but again, my punch out has the one that has all the color. Then on the inside of the card, okay, I used the rest of that same sheet. So remember, I used this part on the front, so I have this part for the back. That seems to work well. Did the same thing, used the same dazzles along the edge, the border dazzles. Now for this one, I used the second layer of this guy. So right here, so I didn't use him because, again, he's got a background, and I didn't want that because I wanted the trees to be the background. So I used the second layer and simply glued that in place. Now I used holidays And again, it's overlaying the art. So happy holidays. And that took care of it. Now, I didn't do any snow on the inside. I certainly could have. Oh, one other thing. One of the design team was talking about, oh, when she does it, she pats down the snow. I don't do that because I want the snow to be as, I don't want it to be flat. I want it to be 3D. So your choice, you can pat it down or not. Kind of when you put this in an envelope, it will pat down a little bit, but I do like it to look very three-dimensional when I first use it. So there you go. Okay, so that is our snowman and our reindeer. Now we're going to go into Santa. Okay, so here's my Santa. And as you can tell, I have used a, well, it's a fabulous folded, of course. And this is a rocker card. Not only will it rock, but it also opens up. Okay, let me show you what this is and which paper I used. So this is the circular step card. Very, very simple to do. Many people have told me that they love the fact that the fabulous folded dies, for the most part, are solid metal. What that means is that there won't be any warping. There won't be any wiggling as you use it the many, many times that I know you're going to use it. So this is great. And I used it on this stripe. And I elected to make sure that the bottom area was on my cutting die. So I'll just lay this flat so you can see where I cut it. Actually, I cut it just right there. And you can see how this area showed. It's a minor thing, but I just think it adds a little bit more interest, a little bit more detail. And this is super easy to do. It will tell you, of course, this is fabulous folded. So it's going to tell you on the back of the package exactly how to do the mountain and valley fold. So that is super easy and super nice. Okay, and I thought this was fine that it worked, that it had this teal color on the back side. So that worked for me too. And take that and place it over there. Now again, wanting to do some things with the teal. So, and with this being, I thought an oval would just fit so nicely. So let me show you this Santa. Okay, so here's the full sheet as opposed to the sheet that I used. You can see that oval. Well, again, I'm going to take my cue from that, like I did from the snowman, and use some oval dies, or see if that will work. And hot diggity, yes, it did work. So here's what I did. Here are my oval dies. It's going to be an oval and a scallop. And I did the oval first out of the white glitter. So we used it on the snowman. I'm going to use it here. But then I used this, and this is the mirror cardstock, the Turkish turquoise. Okay, you're going to get 5 sheets in here. This is a really good price, by the way. And I'm going to make that out of the scallop. So I did use the extra sticky tape again to attach the glitter to the mirror, just because the mirror is a very slick surface, so that would work well. And I'm really pleased with how the teal looks. So I'm not going to attach that to my card yet. I'm going to do one more step before I go into the card, or before I add that piece. And that is to go back to my teal border dazzles. Again, they have the gold edge. And I'm just going to place it, the scallop one going around the curve. Now, I do need to tell you that you're going to need to clip into the dazzles, but you don't clip all the way through. Just clip into the space between 2 of the scallops. Just use your those tiny scissors, snip there, and then just keep placing it, okay? So I placed it on the curved edges, and then I went back with a narrower one. In fact, it is this one, and placed it there and there and there and there. So it just gives me, I'm reproducing that teal color everywhere, and I thought that worked nicely. The other thing I did is use the same So these have been used twice, okay? And these are going to be used again. So you saw in the last one I did Happy Holidays. Well, this time I used the Joy to You, and I really liked how that worked going on top of this. Oh, by the way, you want to add this on top. I guess I need to tell you also, okay, I jumped ahead. Ignore this for a second. Let me come back. Okay, so I have the Santa. This time I did use the background because it's going on the glitter, okay? But then I skipped the second one and I went to the third and the fourth. So that gave me Santa built up with foam tape and then all the presents built up with foam tape. Now, I did not use this last one, which also has an oval shape, by the way. There is a square shape or a rectangle shape at the bottom that I didn't use. I'll tell you about that in a second. So I've got the 2 layers, the first layer and then 2 built up with foam tape. Then I did the Joy to You. And I just like how that is going outside the oval shape, but still fitting in my circular one. Now on the inside, all I added was this second layer. So let me show you what that actually looked like. And there it is. So this would normally go on top of that rectangle, but I elected to just put it right there. Now I could add more dazzles, yes. I elected to leave it a little bit plain because the front is just so doggone flashy. So your choice. Okay, so that is Santa. Now, Santa is one that I need to tell you that we have a very, very limited supply. So if this is something you love, you may want to grab it. Okay, so there we go. The other thing I want to be sure to tell you is that these cards will fit in our 10 envelopes, as you can see. So we always want to make sure that you have a vehicle to send your cards. So that's going to work nicely. Okay, I have one more for you, and this is the Village, using the Village collection. So let me show you that. Here it is. Okay, so this is the Village collection. This one is also in limited supply. I'm really sorry, but they didn't send us as many as we ordered, so that makes a problem. But this is the Village. So let me show you this card. This is a smaller card. And this is using one of our dies. And as you open it, that lays down and you see the Christmas. Okay, and also you see the snow right there. Come back, Houston, come in tighter. Thank you. You see the snow right there. It's also on the bottom of the Village and also on the peaks of that cottage. And I guess that's all. There's a little snowman right in the corner. Right on the right-hand side. Okay, so let me show you what I used. And it is this. This is a circle pop-out card. And it is just a really fun thing to use. There are only 2 pieces. Of course, this big piece is going to make our big circle. And there's a flap right there. All you do is put extra sticky tape and attach it underneath the card. And right there again, the directions are right here on the back. There is also a little pie-shaped piece. I'll tell you about that in a second. But let's begin with our card. And I used that same paper that I used on a previous card that is somewhere on my desk, but it's been, oh, there it is. Okay, so you saw this on the last card. Well, I used the back side of it. Now again, you get 2 sheets of each one. So what I first did is I cut out my card. I wanted a solid cardstock because I couldn't use any of these pieces. Obviously, they're just too small to make that big circle. So I wanted to use a solid. I chose, might as well mix our holidays, I chose the Happy Halloween. This has got browns and tans and grays, and so that was nice. And I used one that is gray on one side and black on the other. Now I've covered up all the black areas so you really can't see them. And then I chose the papers to go on each of the different areas, okay? So all I did was, you can die cut those areas out, or you can just trim them to fit. It was easier for me to take my paper and lay it on the die to cut two of these, one out of this paper and one out of the stripe on the back side, because both sides need to get covered, I thought. Okay. Then for this area, I used this sheet. Now, I only used this area, but because I thought it just did a nice job, especially when my card is closed and as it peeks to open. Now, remember that pie-shaped piece on the cutting die? Right here? Well, that is to cover the base of your piece. And for that, I used some other areas of this same sheet. So that worked very nicely for me. You will also then have several of these circles left from where you have cut the pieces out. So my card stock was gray on one side and black on the other. So I have those, you know, I might find something useful. I'm going to tuck those over here. So that created my card base, okay? Then I elected to, on this sheet, just like all of them, you can do 3 different looks. So here's 1, 2, and 3 little birds down there. Obviously, I chose this one. And in this particular piece, I took out that, here, let me show you this way. I took out this piece that has the background because I really wanted that to show in my window. What I like about a card like this, and also about the circular step, is that you really focus on your star attraction there. And that was nice. I thought that worked out well. And it's been a while since I've used this cutting die. So I did have all the paper surfaces covered. And then I pushed this piece out and then maneuvered it so that it would really show inside when my card was closed, because that's exactly what you want. Okay, let me show you the pieces that I put on top. I used the second piece, so that's the top piece. I used the second piece, foam taped that. Then I used the bottom pieces, so the tree with presents, and then the extra snowman, and you can see that snowman on the corner. Now, as I did with some of the other pieces, I used, this time it's the thin line dazzles. Thin line is exactly that. They're very narrow, but look what a punch they provide. Tiny but mighty is how we think of them. And I did use them. Same thing on this, doing this circle, is that you just kind of turn it. I didn't have to clip it anywhere, but that might be different for you, so keep that in mind. And I also did the outside edge, and on the outside edge I used one that had a flat area and then the scalloped. So that worked very nicely for me. So Merry I have here, and Christmas inside. Once again, I'm using the Christmas greetings dazzles. So you've got a wide variety of things to use. You can see them. So Merry and Christmas is inside. Some of the stars are part of that dazzle set. Now the last thing I did, as you can imagine, is I went back to my soft snowfall and my fine tip applicator and added the glue down here, and then also on the bottom part. Okay, you can see that? Yeah, the bottom part of my push out, and also on the roof of that house. Then I just did the same thing, sprinkled the snowfall on it, tapped it off, and I'm done. And I'm done. Even though this looks like a lot of work, it sure isn't. It really isn't. And once again, although this is small, it will fit nicely in our 10 envelopes, so that works well. Okay, so I did reuse many of the teal looking and then added the Christmas greetings on all of them. By the way, this is another one that I have to say, I'm sorry to say, but we do have very limited inventory. So if you love it, grab it, because this is all there is. Okay, so once again, we have the village, we have Santa. We're going to back up so you can see them, both of which are in limited supply. I'm really, really sorry. The deer and the snowman. And yes, I will put these back in stock so they're available. And we have the Enchanting Christmas 8x8 papers, all of these from Find It Trading. Okay, that's it from me and from us. If you are interested while they last, we do have the Money Saver. As the pieces fall out and sell out, we remove them from the Money Saver, but to make sure that you get your savings on all the other pieces that are there. And once again, I do have all the instructions written out. They're down below. And just click on them, you can see, and you will also see all the products that were used. And you can tell many of them were used in multiple projects, so that works out nicely. Okay, if you are watching us on YouTube, I'll do the same spiel I always do. We hope that you will like us. Leave a comment if you like, that would be great. We hope you'll subscribe. But then head on over to paperwishes.com, because that's where you're going to find this collection and find the Money Saver and find the instructions. So it's kind of worth your while to head on over here. And I did have a great time with these, and I think you will too. Very easy with the push-up, but do remember that on all of these, I found an area of every single push-out that needed to be trimmed. So we did make sure that we have some of the scissors on hand for you, so that will work out nicely. I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to thank you especially for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you next time.